just a brief word on the Irish Green Building Council. I suppose we're one of those organisations where it's about the industry coming together to provide solutions to government. You can't always expect governments to be able to regulate and they won't regulate. Government tends to be very conservative until it knows that it can move forward. So we're one of those organisations that helps provide solutions to sustainability in the built environment. And I'm just going to talk about a number of the programs that we run, particularly the Home Performance Index. We're a member of the World Green Building Council. There's green building councils in virtually every country in the world, most of the developed world. And they act to try and move the industry forward. You can't always rely on regulations. It's about the best in the industry moving it forward. I always have to say any company can become a member of the Irish Green Building Council. It's about, and I like Victor's phrase, it's not just about the business case for sustainability, it's about the sustainability case for business and about getting involved. It's about doing the right thing, but there are plenty of other benefits in terms of, building and investing in your own workforce and helping shape the future. We've members, and I suppose the key thing is our members are drawn from every sector in the construction and property sector, from those who use the buildings to those who provide materials for it and for those who design it. But I suppose one of the ways that we make sustainability understandable for developers is we give them tools that they can follow, best practice guidelines that they can follow, and this is typically through certification tools, rating tools. So there's already a broad range of those in Ireland. We have strategic partnerships with all of these organisations, and we provide training with LEED, BREEAM and WELL. Now these are very much designed for the commercial property sector, but we haven't really had anything for the residential sector so far, and that's where we decided that we needed something that's got the largest impact in our construction sector. So in 2014 we set out to design a system similar to these to embed sustainability in all new residential development. It is a voluntary system, but we're aiming for maximum penetration. Already in France, their voluntary certification system has achieved 50%. So we have two programs. We have the EPD program, which is about sustainability at the product level, and the Home Performance Index, which is about a certification system for housing. And they're both supported by the Environmental Protection Agency. Now, part of the purpose of sustainability tools is to encourage the builder, to give them a reason to move beyond building regulations and do the right thing. And if you have a badge that the homeowner can then recognise, they reward that. So it's based on a reward, encourage basis. I suppose this is the best way of describing it. We have building regulations which act as a backstop against the very worst quality building you're allowed build by the law. But I mean, a lot of builders actually want to do better. They want to build a higher quality building. So how do we recognise that? So you have a certain tiny percentage who are the innovators. Now they are the chasm jumpers. They're the ones who will really take the initiative and push the boundaries of sustainability. It's only when they've done that about 20% of the industry follows them, and they follow quite rapidly. Once one or two have broken through, then the following 20% follow on. That then pulls the rest of them, and then government says, "Oh, I think they're ready now. Let's back up the regulations a little bit." So this is what it's about. It's about trying to move the whole industry forward. Because take, for example, building regulations. It's a very slow, cumbersome means of getting people to do anything. It's taken, for example, 10 years for us to update are building regulations for non-domestic property. That's an aeon. Most industries in 10 years have moved so far ahead of building regulations. So you have to have a way of encouraging and giving them the incentive to move ahead. So the Home Performance Index is very much set up to give the home builder a way of communicating the quality of his homes to the home buyer. And the home buyer could be a housing association, it could be a PPP, a government public-private partnership, it could be an institutional investor such as a pension fund. Because they are the first movers at the moment. It's the pension funds that recognise that if they're investing in large-scale property, then they need to get they're investing in the long term over 60 years, because when they get to retirement age for their investors, they need to know that property will still be there and delivering for them. So as well, I have to go out every day and sell this to developers. So I've been asked every question in the book about why should I do it. So, I mean, all the reasons are there. If you want to attract investment from funds, you do it. If you want to communicate the quality to your home buyers, you do it. If you want to get through the planning system quicker, you do it. And if you want to win PPP, so all these reasons. Now, another big one coming down the road later this year is the European Mortgage Federation are moving to develop a green mortgage product that would allow home buyers to buy more sustainable and more energy efficient property, and in return they will get a discounted mortgage. So even the financial sector has seen the benefit of this. The financial sector has realised that more sustainable, more energy efficient property has less default and retains its value. So they want to get on board, they want to offer mortgages to the public. Now, the way we communicate it is a bit about the language of communicating to the home buyer. They don't want to know about the technical language of sustainability, and it's very much what's in it for me as a home buyer. So we give it to them broadly under the three categories of, you'll understand, of sustainability, the three pillars, environmental, economic and social, which translated into costs, well-being, our planet. So this is a way of the home buyers, a lot of them aren't interested some of them aren't interested in the environment. So what else is in it for me in terms of having a better home, lower costs, and better well-being for my family? The certified homes, when homes are certified under this system, then they go up on a website, and home buyers can find certified homes in their locality. This then gives the incentive for the home builder, knowing he's gotten an extra bit of marketing. And then you can click through to the website and find homes. So we've already certified homes under this scheme, and we have a lot of very large developments coming through over the next next 2 years. We have those chasm jumpers. Now the 20% are going to be following on quite quickly. So we expect it to really take off in 2019, and home buyers will be able to find homes that are certified to a sustainability standard. Now, you'll notice the term Home Performance Index. We used a neutral term because we're not saying, that the homes are necessarily completely sustainable. It's about an index, a transition to sustainability. Now, in terms of the technical, how we communicated to the technical teams, we have 5 broad categories of technical. Environment is everything to do with the ecological footprint of the homes. Health and well-being is everything that impacts the health and sense of wellness of those living in the homes. Economic is the costs. That could be everything from water, electricity, transport costs of having to own 1 or 2 cars, If you don't need to own a car, you're saving a fortune. So it looks at all of those costs associated with the home. Quality assurance is the key one, because we can build to any design standards we want, but unless we have quality assurance measures in there, we can have a huge performance gap between how the home was designed to perform and how it actually performs. And then finally we have sustainable location. Now, as an example of some of the indicators in there, it's a very broad sustainability assessment. We look at things like land use and density. We're not making any more land, so we gotta use it wisely. Water consumption, energy, embodied impacts. Then we look, there's quality assurance ones like the level of air infiltration. Having a ventilation system, it's not always a given that you're going to get a ventilation system in your home, but that's one thing we insist on. Because if you don't have a ventilation system, you're likely, under the current regulations, to get issues with mold growth and poor indoor air quality. So you can see it's a fairly broad system, and these are only about half of the overall indicators. Now, there are some challenging indicators in there. It is a rating system, so some of these things are already embedded in good practice, but we're moving towards more challenging indicators over time. So, for example, the embodied impact one is probably something nobody has done to date. Nobody measures embodied impact of the materials going into the building. It's only done on an academic level. Well, that's going to start to change over the next year. We've already got developers carrying out life cycle assessment at the building level through this scheme. Now, I'm just going to talk about some of the indicators, some very easy indicators to apply. What we gather together is a lot of calculators and tools that enable the architects and the engineers quite easily measure the various indicators. So there's water efficiency calculators, and a whole series of calculators that allows you to see, where you are and the benchmarks you've achieved. We've already certified Dublin City Council. We're certifying quite a lot of social housing over the next year, and some large private developments probably coming on stream in 2019. I was just going to briefly talk about one of the indicators in here, because this is very much a vertically integrated system. We have included life cycle assessment in the overall system, but we didn't have any means. There's no education in it in Ireland. There's no databases in Ireland, and there's very few environmental product declarations. So we had to set out from scratch to build that whole infrastructure. So step one is we had to establish an environmental product declaration program. From that, develop a national database of EPD data and generic data, because that then allows architects and engineers and quantity surveyors to create full building life cycle assessment at the building level. But we also need the calculators, and it needs to be easy. It used to take weeks to carry out a life cycle assessment on a building. It's now, through this process, we're hoping to make this a matter of hours. So we've established step one. We have a fully operational environmental product declaration program at the as and from probably this month. We are being audited by Ecoplatform, so it will be a recognised European environmental product declaration program. We've already EPDs coming through it. We expect to have another 15 environmental product declarations by the end of this year. Just to explain what an environmental product declaration is, it doesn't mean it's it is just a declaration of what the impacts of that material are. It doesn't say it's a good material, it doesn't say it's a bad material, it's just pure transparency about the material. And that's what we've been lacking to date. So it's simply a document that sets out the impacts, typically under 5 or 6 criteria, typically global warming potential, eutrophication, acidification, abiotic depletion. I can't remember them all, but there's about 5 or 6 of them. So we've launched an EPD platform where you can download all of the EPDs that are available for construction product in Ireland. So there's products that have been available through other programs, and over the next 2 years we will see most of the main Irish manufacturers develop EPD through our program. Now, but the next thing is, how do you use that data? An EPD is just a PDF with a lot of numbers on it. It's useless in terms of looking at it. It's like looking into a bush. But how do you take that data and help you make decisions about the buildings you're designing? So that's where we get to life cycle assessment and using calculators to carry out, integrated with BIM, that allows you to immediately see what the impact of your particular design is and iterate it and change it to reduce the impact. So really, that gives you a general overview of some of the programs and how they integrate with each other. And you can find out more information here on www.Home Performance Index and the EPD platform, www.epd.org. And a couple of events that are coming up you may be interested in. Green Room is focused on commercial building, resource, focused on materials and life cycle, and Better Homes is focused on homes later in the year.